It's 6 o'clock and we're going slowly. Well, no, we'll be all right. Filming is a little bit like going to war. You know, you find your troops, you find your officers, and you have to run it in a very organized fashion, otherwise you get killed financially. So you better turn up in the morning as if it's a landing, and you know, you've got to hit the beaches running. They're stressed. Stressed parents. You have to be fast on your feet because whatever you planned in your head, things are always going to change.
I think he's having a lovely time on this shoot. You know, he's just like a guy hitting his real stride now. And so I'm delighted that he's working on something that's so many different things. You know, this movie's a love story, and it's also a story about an amazing dream, because he also is a great dreamer.
Then you'll be on the wider camera with you as you walk off the beach. You'll just stop, and the others will just follow through and do whatever they're going to do. Okay?
Je pense que l'énergie, le style de Colomb n'a rien à voir avec les films qu'il a fait avant. Mais on retrouve une famille d'angles. Comme c'est quelqu'un de très visuel et qui a une grande culture, ce que n'ont pas beaucoup de cinéastes, malheureusement.
As soon as you hit the ground, jump, because you're going to be on a line. You're going to have a big marker on the tree.
C'est comme disait Picasso, il dit, il ne cherche pas, il trouve. Et quand Ridley arrive dans un décor, que ce soit ce décor immense de cathédrale, bien entendu que toute sa culture, sa connaissance se met en marche.
The scene that we're now shooting is the glorious scene when Columbus has come back victorious from the New World, and is one of the biggest scenes, if not the biggest scene in the picture in terms of numbers of people.
Just have 2 people sit in a chair, okay?
And in fact, this scene is a compromise. We've already had to make, shortenings and trimmings, and Ridley's creativity, if you like, is how do you deal with that?
I think today filming is so driven by finance. It's almost the antithesis to art, but sometimes art comes out of it.
74 easy, take one, A camera. C camera. 3 camera mute. Stand by. Call this the next one.
Well, now, after so many films which have made him world famous, I think you could say that he's a narrative artist who uses a camera instead of a brush.
It was physically shooting was about 18 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, but you must remember that there was short preparation actually, but it was 4 months prep, and then there's 4 months post. So it's kind of a year and a little bit in the process, which for a film of this size is fairly fast. We had to do that because I had this end date of the celebration of Columbus, which is on October the 12th. So I had a very specific end of the road. David Lean was one of the inspirations of David Lean, Carol Reed, Michael Powell, that group that came out of, I guess historically would have been Alexander Korda, Michael Balkan, Ealing Studios. Mm-hmm. That group of filmmakers obviously were a very strong influence. Yeah.
Well, it started in '87. I was doing a reporting in Seville about the 500th anniversary, and to be more precise, about the fact that this very small city was trying to organize itself in order to be able to receive some 20 million visitors. And I visited the archives of Seville, And I was shown some of the Columbus's letters, I mean, at least copies of them, because you see, these are among the most precious parchments ever, discovered in history. And so they are kept in a secret place, but you can see the copies, and that really intrigued me, and that's what triggered the whole, let's say, adventure. I didn't know, I had no idea. I started out the project that very same month from Seville. After 3 days in this city, I called the only friend I had in the movie industry, and that's Alan Goldman, who is today the producer, along with Ridley Scott, of 1492. And I told him, you should take a plane and come see for yourself, because there is a movie here, and the locations are exactly in the same state that Columbus, visited them. And the story has not been told, and the 500th anniversary, which was at the time 4.5 years ahead of us, gives us a wonderful opportunity of putting this film together. And so that's how it started. That he was a rebel of the mind, that he was a very independent person, that he was extremely physically brave, that he was absolutely not a political leader, very clumsy from that point of view, and that because he was looking and sincerely and believed he would find paradise on earth, he was an idealist and definitely a dreamer.
It will take you to a world of grandeur.
Why should I believe in you, Senor Columbus?
Were you never ambitious?
Deliver you to a time of wonder.
We will work with his people. We want peace.
Overwhelm you with the power of the truth.
There is something that will never change. I did it. You didn't.
Gerard Depardieu in a Ridley Scott film, 1492, Conquest of Paradise, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, October 9th.
And Ridley Scott was in town beating the drum for 1492, which has certainly started but hasn't finished. Early publicity is important because his is not the only film about Christopher Columbus that we'll be seeing this year.
In which way do you think that yours and the other rival big Columbus are going to differ?
I think theirs covers the latest, the stages of Columbus persuading the crown and the administration, the journey, the discovery, return and triumph. My emphasis is really not on the journey, but in fact what happened after that, right through the rest of his life. That's what I found most fascinating.
And now how about Depardieu? I mean, on the face of it, that sounds like marvellous casting. Did you find this so?
The best time I ever had with anybody.
Really?
Mm. On and off the set. He's one of the boys. And is also probably one of the best actor I've ever worked with.
He's not bad, is he?
Fantastic.
But is there going to be room for two big Columbus movies in the same year?
If they're both good movies, yeah. If one movie is clearly much better than another, then the one that's better is probably going to do better business, yeah.
I don't think I'll ask you which you think is going to be the better, because I suspect I can guess the answer.
Carry On Columbus. That's going to do great.
Well, there's that too, of course,
yeah.
isn't it?
That may be the best movie.
He'll take an object and he'll place it amongst other objects like a still life, and he can make the most simple thing look like the most beautiful thing, you know. Even at home, the way that he'll arrange pencils in a cup, you know, like Stabilo pencils with the little rubbers on the end. I mean, he'll just arrange it. It's his knack that he has. He'll just stick them in the pot and they'll look beautiful.
He's a perfectionist, visually and I think in his lifestyle as well. At home, it's basically like being on a set. Well, it's a little like being on a set in that everything has its place. It's very neat. It's very tidy. Things actually get moved around a hell of a lot. Furniture and stuff like this, you know.
Furniture, yeah. You can be lying in bed at sort of at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and he'll come into the room, and you're always peering from underneath the sheets, thinking, God damn it, he's going to start moving furniture again. And sure enough, within 5 minutes, you were out of bed, lifting tables up and down staircases.
That's all he needs to do.
I guess it's like a process that he has to go through in order to to feel like, I don't know if it's anything, I think it must be something to do with change. It must be something to do with evolution. He's always trying to evolve his environment so that he never feels like he's stagnant.
He's completely elusive and very shy and very soft-spoken. It's hard to know a lot about him, about his personal life or what goes on deep inside. He's intensely private, and because I think so much of his time and energy is consumed by the work, you don't have a lot of opportunity necessarily to hang out with him outside of that situation.
Why don't we have two people standing doing nothing with lighters, so we're not waiting for 10 minutes while we light the candles, so they can look care of that, and everybody, because it'll take us 10 minutes to light the candles in this room. So why don't we have two guys with lighters who can all do it? Okay?
Yeah.
Michael, do you want someone to go with you? I think the process of film vis-a-vis temperament is a tough one because it's like trying to punch an eider down, you know, hanging on a clothesline. Because there are so many people involved in the process that that in itself is frustrating until you get your group of people that you like to work with, and they understand you and you understand them, therefore the shorthand becomes faster, more meticulous, and you get to where you want quicker than you normally would. Until you gain some kind of reputation, then it's difficult.
And also beautiful monuments, you know, in Salamanca, the church. So amazing, you know, when you imagine the men who, les gens qui ont construit or built that church in 500 years ago and still here. You can, when you go in that architecture, I always think about the hands of the man who puts the stone, and it's amazing to. It was difficult pictures to tell because it's very hard to find a good story about Columbus because nobody knows. I mean, everybody believes he knows Columbus, but we don't know exactly what he did. Someone says he was a killer. He opened the door to the genocide, but he did it. He found America. He found a new land. It was the first who was near to that new world, and it's very hard to carry on. And that's because it's difficult to be a Columbus. Yes, because it was like the dream of the child, you know. I think everybody, when tout le monde, quand il a été enfant, when you were a child, you dream to discover something. I remember when I was a child, I dreamed to find some money on the ground, par terre. And no, I think he's a great man. He's a very important man, almost like Jesus Christ, or is a very important man, Columbus.
Saturday, yeah.
We put it on, we mix it, and we send it to you. So if you have it by Monday,
from a musical point of view, I'm not concerned. From the censorship, I don't give a shit. You know, I was aware of them through Hugh Hudson. Hugh had been in RSA, which was my company then, for almost 7 years, and then Hugh had gone off and done Chariots of Fire. Vangelis moved to a glass studio in Paris somewhere. His studio was entirely in glass. in a courtyard, and he'd taken over the courtyard, put this glass studio there, and that's why I did 1492. He's always got this twinkle, and being in the world of this kind of, it's not exactly rock and roll, but there's a lot of musicians and rock and roll types around him.
What are they going to cut, do you think?
I think that's why I've left most of the violence in, because I know I'll have to remove stuff. And I think I'll have a big problem with the hand being chopped off. Right? I will argue, because I think it's relevant and it's real. You know, it's not horror, it's real, right? So I'm going to argue with this.
It's not so hard anyway.
No. And I think I'll argue with they're going to argue about the throat being cut. So I could take that, because I think it's a little excessive, right? So that could come out. But the sword through the chest isn't no problem, right?
What, I mean,
the strangulation will have a big problem. You do me a rough. You said over here, it's going to go this, boom, and you go wham, you get the whole thing. You think, Jesus, I get it. Whereas a guy on the piano going, here we're going to have timpani, boom, and you're going, huh? And here's the horns, okay. He's playing on the goddamn piano. Sorry, I'm not that much of a genius, so. We put a little.
I did it.
Okay. Run it back. I put a cue, run it back down the corridor. It's very simple.
I see steeples.
You mean the same one that we had after?
I see civilization.
The one we just played at the end of the movie.
And I see spires that reach to the sky.
One thing that changed Sanchez, I did it, you didn't. Thank you very much. See what I mean?
On him.
And then it's the landscape. Courtyard, dismounts. Yeah.
Right. So.
Then it's the milestone.
All right.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do that from?
You just did it. Didn't you recall? Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
C'est extraordinaire parce que tu vois, l'image et là sur un sujet pareil, on n'a pas vu, on voit pas ça.
Non.
Mais toi, tu connais le film, t'as jamais vu le, comment ça s'appelle?
Si, j'ai vu un premier bout à bout. Non, mais sans musique, mais un premier bout à bout qui était différent. Mais là, c'est complètement différent maintenant. J'ai vu un bout à bout qui était.
"1492" is the second film you've worked on with Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
The first one being Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Is it important for you to have a good rapport with the director?
It's vital. It's vital because otherwise it won't be, first, the work enjoyable, and then the result will be nice, right. I think it's important. I like very much Ridley, I like what he does, and as an experience of work. with him because, I can explain, it's quite crazy. I mean, crazy situation, I'm going to say, really it's crazy. Yeah. First of all, explain to me what he wants to do. I mean, I'm talking about, well, Ridley or any director. Let's take the case about Ridley, right? Then I wait to see the first assembly, the first rushes, the rough cut as we call it. And then, from there onwards, because you see, systematically, I don't want to read scripts. Because the script for me, it will create my own movie. And as I'm working with somebody else, and it's a collective work, I don't want to create something which is totally independent from his visual point of view. So I prefer to see what he has to propose visually, and then I join in. So, then when I see the first rough cut, I start playing, composing, as you call it. I don't know. You call it. And that's it. Nothing more complicated than that.
Studio, why glass? I would have thought glass would have been very difficult for sound.
Okay, why? It's very easy because I would like to feel the changes of the day and the seasons. And I hate and I'm tired to be in studios which are, you know, underground or between brackets extremely well soundproof and all that. All that is tiring in the end. And you're cut off completely from nature, from everything. Here I can feel when the sun is up, when the sun is down, when it's raining. It's fantastic here. I can see the birds, I can see the trees, and that's great. We can, I mean, you can say we can do that in nature, completely with nothing, but unfortunately we have noises. This is for practical reasons. But to have glass is almost the same.
You've written music for many films, Antarctica, Bounty, Missing, but you haven't released soundtracks or musical scores from all of them.
This is another problem again. How many albums are we going to release every year? Because now you're talking about a very small area again, which are films. But if I release everything that I do every year, maybe I should release about maybe 20 albums a year. And if we talk about the music I've done for Jacques Cousteau, that makes another album. And if we talk about maybe 3 symphonies that I've done the last, you know, few months, that's another maybe 3 albums. And if we talk about, I don't know, the theatrical performance, the Medea in Spain with Irene Papas, that's another album. So how many albums we have there? Who's going to cope with this? And maybe people that don't want to have all that. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that it's weird for me. And what comes out and what people know, it's a small fraction from what happens here.
You strike me as an intensely private man.
Well, I'm private because I don't believe that it's very important. There are so many things happen today and people have so many problems. I don't think it's room for personal stuff to go out and personal careers. It's an unnecessary luxury. I think the most important is the work. And I feel, I mean, that when people, I don't want to impose to people my private life because it's quite egocentric. So I think, I mean, even what we're doing now, it's something very rare. I don't do it, as you noticed.
So where and when are you at your happiest?
When I achieve a moment of harmony. And that can be achieved in anything, by playing, by eating, by doing nothing, by being with someone. Simple things. And simple things in here, not there. Because that's another thing. If we think we have to go there to be happy, you can be here.
Tell him we thank him for his hospitality.
He knows.
Tell him some of my men are staying here to build a fort.
He really spent his life on the outside looking in and isn't sure what is in there, you know, what is in, what being inside of anything represents.
I think they should be separated.
Yeah. I mean, the medium is a remarkable medium, and it does penetrate people's psyches in an extraordinary way. And that's something that should bother Ridley. What does he want to leave behind beyond a set of absolutely glorious images?
I don't know yet, because I've only done 8 movies, which is really frustrating, and therefore I just want to, it's like a child in a sweet shop. You know, I just want to move on to the next roll of wine gums, the next packet of chocolates, because I'm exploring the process and the craft of what I enjoy most. And somewhere in there, I think I'm gradually forming a pattern. I've discovered now that in a way, it's an incredible waste to make a film about nothing. That doesn't mean to say that the film industry should be filled with films that only are of serious, material. Films ought to be mainstream. What I try to do is up the standard and the level of what I would call mainstream cinema.
executores voluntas Dei sunt, et cum vobis rectum Domini per terras novas ultramares crescatur, et ideas crux Christi maneat semper.
Won't be easy to get rid of your prophet now. On the contrary, seems to me the man is preparing his own cross.
In a time of rigid faith and restless doubt, one man challenged the forces of fear and ignorance.
You are a passionate man, Senor Columbus.
Driven by a sense of destiny and ambition, he crossed the sea of darkness in search of honor, gold, and the greater glory of God. Sigourney Weaver, Amanda Sante, Fernando Rey, and Gerard Depardieu as Columbus. 1492, Conquest of Paradise. The extraordinary story of the discovery of a new world. In a time of rigid faith and restless doubt, one man challenged the forces of fear and ignorance.
You are a passionate man, Senor Columbus.
Driven by a sense of destiny and ambition, he crossed the sea of darkness in search of honor, gold, and the greater glory of God. Sigourney Weaver, Amanda Sante, Fernando Rey, and Gerard Depardieu as Columbus. The extraordinary story of the discovery of a new world.
In einer Zeit strengen Glaubens und immerwährenden Zweifels forderte ein Mann die Mächte der Angst und Finsternis heraus.
Sie sind ein ehrgeiziger Mann, Senor Columbus.
Getrieben von Vorsehung und Ehrgeiz überquerte er das Meer der Dunkelheit. Auf der Suche nach Ehre und Gold. Und zur höheren Ehre Gottes. Sigourney Weaver, Armand Assante, Fernando Rey und Gérard Depardieu als Columbus. Die außergewöhnliche Geschichte der Entdeckung der neuen Welt.